To walk beneath the Pisces moon is to dissolve what chains us. We release the weight of old wounds, let grief flow back into the tides, and soften the edges of your judgment. In surrender, we find compassion. In emptiness, we make room for love to return. All right, guys, welcome back to my channel, Cosmic Insight Astrology. I am your co-pilot, Christina. Today, I'm here with the lunar eclipse in Pisces, which is going to happen September 7th, 2025. And it's gonna be the midpoint of Pisces. It's gonna happen actually in 15 degrees. So we're going to talk about a few asteroids because I'm just obsessed with asteroids, and we're going to actually talk about one fixed star over here as well. And then I'm going to talk about each individual signs as usual. So if you're new to my channel, I'm doing whole sign astrology and tropical astrology. And I always mention each individual rising sign as well for you. So you know what to expect. And I'm obsessed with mundane astrology and politics and geopolitical events. So if you don't like that part, you can always skip it and, just listen for your own signs as well. So as you see right now, I shared the lunar eclipse chart with you. So whoever is visual, you can see that up there. The lunar eclipse, as I said, going to happen in 15 degrees and let me see, 22 minutes, 15 degrees and 22 minutes in Pisces. So that is the midpoint, and it is 2 p.m. in Miami, because I always erect the chart to Miami. So as you see that over here, don't mind the ascendant, because you always have to erect that for your own location, or check it in your own individual sign. But we're going to talk about the eclipse itself. So, when the lunar eclipse happens, the lunar eclipse actually happens when the Earth passes between the sun and the moon, and the Earth shadow falls on the moon. And actually, that's right now we're going to have a total lunar eclipse, and it's going to happen actually. The moon going to be a blood moon. That's why we call it blood moon, because it's going to cover all the way the moon, and it's going to be exact 82 minutes long. So it's going to be a very long lunar eclipse. The whole entire eclipse gonna be over 5 hours, 5 hours and 42 minutes. And you will be able to see the eclipse actually from let me see, because let me see the dates, and I just want the dates, um, and what is that? Just a second. I want to stop right now for a second, pause the. So the app, what I was looking for, actually, that's the timeanddate.com. And then over there, you are capable to see where is it going to be seen, because it's a total lunar eclipse. So right now, the regions what can actually see part of the eclipse is Europe, Asia, Australia, Africa, West in North America, East South America, and the Pacific and Atlantic, Indian Ocean, and the Arctic as well, and Antarctica. So that's where you can see the eclipse from. And usually that's where the wherever you can see the eclipse, the solar or the lunar eclipse, that's where it's going to affect the geopolitically the Earth. So then we're going to see actually what is exactly the eclipse, the archetype of the eclipse. The eclipse is a full moon in steroids. So the lunar eclipse only happens during full moon, right? And then it's a culmination, it is an ending, and it's a fated event, what we cannot control whatsoever. So the lunar eclipse, usually it's an ending, it's grief, it's letting go of something, it is also something to do with ending of contract, and it is like the full moon on steroids. That's what you have to know about that. And then, it is a karmic cycle as well. It could be something like secrets are exposed, hidden emotion going to surface. And obviously, the eclipse is always karmic. Why is it karmic and fated? Because it's always connected with the nodes, and the nodes are very karmic. The north node is Jupiterian, the south node is Saturnian in flavor. Right now, the north node, we have that in Pisces, the south node, we have that in Virgo. However, we only have lunar eclipse during this axis period in Pisces. So it's very weird because usually we have one solar eclipse, one lunar eclipse in the same sign, for example, but during this 18 months, when the nodes are in Pisces and Virgo axis, we only have lunar eclipse. So there is a lot of ending in, for example, Piscean archetype and Piscean keyword. So what does Pisces rule? Pisces rules the 12th house and ruled by Jupiter and ruled by Neptune. So the old avatar is Jupiter and the new avatar is Neptunian in flavor. So it is bringing in culmination in that sense, right? So anything to do with the layers of Neptunian energy, so pharmaceutical, orphanage, underprivileged, it is JS, it is hospitals, hospice. Anything to do with flooding. Neptune is also inflation as well. And Jupiter is overexpansion, but it also rules media like filmography, photography, videography. It also rules, Neptune is the hierarchy of love. It is money, it's hidden, like bank accounts, for example, overseas bank accounts, Cayman Island, a lot of, very wealthy people has bank account offshore. So it's offshore's bank account as well. So you're going to see we have to something to do with those kind of subjects. So when you are interpreting anything with this lunar eclipse, you have to think of what does it rule the Piscean energy and what is it ruled by and what the 12th house rules, and that's how you can interpret the eclipse itself. On the other hand, what you also have to know, it's midpoint. 15 degrees is midpoint in Pisces, and there is a fixed star which is Achernar, which is Jupiterian and Venusian in flavor. So something to do with beauty, something to do with indulgence as well. And Jupiter and Venus is always capable to bring in some kind of, uh, you know, uh, new offshore account for people, or it could bring in some kind of new wealth or new spiritual practice in our life as well. Because definitely, that is love, higher octave of love. And Neptune itself, it's mysticism, and Pisces itself also, it is also surrender, and it's also, like a hidden institution as well. It also rules, for example, addiction, addictology, and drug addiction or alcoholism, anything to do with substance abuse as well. So that's what you have to know about that. That is illusion and delusion, Neptune. That's what the signature. But mysticism as well. So and spirituality. It could bring some kind of spiritual crisis as well. And Neptune also rules pandemic as well. So we will see what's going to happen, but definitely, that is the subject what we need to talk about. And also, the other thing is, yes, there is a canard, the fixed star, and also there is an other um, um, beautiful aspect with Sirius and Jupiter, for example, because Sirius and Jupiter, it's also going to trine with this eclipse right now. And I wrote out a few things over here for myself. We're going to have Casanova in Pisces at 17 degrees, and we're going to also have Igli, which is also in 15 degrees Pisces, and Narcissus and Bacchus going to be in Scorpio, which is like, like alcoholism, Bacchus indulgence as well. And Narcissus, obviously, it's narcissistic ability and selfishness. And we also have Nessus in Pisces 20 degrees. It's 5 degrees away. Usually I count 2 degrees and not I all of us supposed to. But I give a little bit more more orbs as well for asteroids because it's really giving a flavor for us. So yes, there is actually Nessus in Pisces, and it trines with Bacchus and Narcissus. So obviously there is going to be a subject about narcissistic people or Bacchus alcoholism, for example, as well. And as I said before, Okenar, that is commitment and spiritual wealth, anything to do with secret dealing, anything to do with overexpansion as well, because it's Venus and Venusian and Jupiterian in flavor, right? So it could also bring in some kind of karmic entanglement as well. And because of the eclipse itself going to activate the 12th house in general in for the collective, it's anything to do with institutions, with prisons, with jails, hospitals, secret funding, for example, and hidden enemies. And the 12th house also the eternal womb, it is the afterlife, it is surrender and letting go of illusion, and also it's the transcendence as well, guys. And then because of it's going to trine Sirius, the dog star, and Jupiter, and I told you how lucky Sirius it is. It is like a second sun. It is a very bright star. It is something to do with compassion-driven breakthrough, and also, anything to do with hidden wealth as well. But it's going to either expose it for us, or it could also bring in spiritual leadership. So it's going to change the way people are leading. And, like kings falls, and then spiritual leaders comes in. The eclipse itself happening on the 7th, but you can wait actually until the next eclipse going to happen in Pisces again. So usually I say until the new moon in Pisces, so March, right, going to be in 2026 when it's gonna happen, the new moon in Pisces. But also the last eclipse gonna happen at 4 degrees 2026, the lunar eclipse in Pisces. So during this year right now, we're going to see, for example, flood is coming in because lunar eclipse, it is Piscean, Neptunian energy. It rules the ocean. It rules flooding. So those areas where it could be seen, we can expect some kind of offshore issues, something to do with flooding, right? And then, what else? We also have to check the Neptune overlay, scandals and bubbles, because Neptune is inflated, so it could create some kind of bubbles and some kind of scandals for not royalties, but mm, celebrities, because Neptune is also rules the celebrities. It's glamour, so scandals for glamorous peoples. Also, it could bring in some kind of addiction crisis, or how we going to solve addiction crisis as well. And the Jupiterian overlay over here, it could be some kind of ideological clashes, or some kind of inflation and expansion over indulgence. And with the Neptunian overlay, bubbles and scandals and addiction crisis, obviously it could be something to do with maybe even drug crisis, cartel, or we're going to see some kind of issues around pharmaceuticals and big pharma, and also insurance, or the drug price is going to inflate, and maybe it's going to be not available right now. All right, so that's what we have to talk about. And geopolitically, actually, and for the collective, it could bring in, oh yeah, yeah. What did I do with my phone? All right. It could bring in something to do with um, leak documents, for example, right? Offshore accounts for governments and government workers, and corporation as well. So we're not going to really trust in global structures anymore. It could be also um, bring in something to do with prison scandals, because Pisces also rules orphanages and prisons. Maybe we're going to have leaked document how they sold, children, orphan children for sex trafficking, or it could be the prison scandals, like what's going on in detention centers, because Pisces also rules immigration, guys, right? Pisces has no boundaries, and it is doesn't rules borders, so it is like a global exodus, right? So something to do with detention centers and anything to do with humanitarian issues in detention centers as well. Why prisoners keep dying, like what's going on over there. That kind of scandals is coming on. And also, it could be like it could redraw some kind of borders as well, because Pisces is also, Pisces doesn't know boundaries. So some countries could expand their borders, right? So, for example, right now I was watching a lot of historian and professors, and they said, it's pretty much right now Russia is going to take and overtake Ukraine pretty much lost the war, right? And they're going to overtake a lot of area. So obviously there is going to be something to do with borders and border issues as well. All right, let me answer my son just a second. I'm gonna pause. All right. So, where have I been? I had to answer my son, of course, the last four digits of Social Security, because he always needs something with the college and the university applying. That's happening over here. So, all right. So, there could be also some kind of global spiritual power struggle as well. It could be something to do with religious leaders going to clash right now. And you can see, like we have right now anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, and obviously anti-Semitism comes because of what Israel doing right now, and the killing Palestinian innocent Palestinians, and it's going to create hate, and it is going to be obviously based on religions as well. So we're going to see some kind of issues with ideological influences, something to do with Zionism as well. And it's going to actually bring in false prophets as well, because Neptune is lies and false prophets, right? So we have to really be careful, even if you are taking on to a new spiritual path, careful, because there could be a lot of cult as well, and it could be an issue. And then we're going to have immigration and refugee surges, because of Neptune also rules immigration and refugees, right? But because of not only political events, but also climate events as well, and drug war as well. So there could be something to do. I told you guys before, I did a video when I said Maduro is going to die, right? And right now, what I just heard, obviously, in the news, like the Trump administration is going against Maduro and the drug cartel, right? But actually, it's not against the drug cartel. You have to understand, guys, it is about the oil, what they have in Venezuela, and they also have emerald mines as well, and they still have a lot of gold in Venezuela. All right, so it's all about oil and emerald and gold as well. So what's happening here? And so yes, so it is everything about the oil, guys, and not really about the what is that? The drug cartel. All right. The other thing is what we also have to talk about, because of Pisces also rules the hidden wealth as well. So we can actually have some kind of leak data as well, because of the offshore accounts going to be exposed, and something to do with tax havens for rich people. And like you will see where they hide their account and how much money the politicians has, and it will bring in obviously some kind of resentment, and also obviously, because Uranus is in Gemini, Pluto is in Aquarius, they trine, it's going to bring in like social unrest as well. So yes, and then also, as I was talking about, because it's pharmaceuticals, it could be some kind of pharma bubble as well. And what you also have to know, anything to do with oil and anything to do with synthetic drugs and green funds as well, it could also spike. All of them could spike as well during this time. And then, for example, because of it's going to trine Sirius and Jupiter, there could be some kind of charitable revolution here, but also it could be like, all right, megaphones are going to charitable event, and that charitable event is belong from politicians, and it's not going to get to the people who are in need. So right now we're going to learn about that. Yes, and also it could be, and the crypto privacy battles also it could happen because why? Because there could be some kind of new token coming, and because Pisces rules. Famous people and celebrities. It could be some kind of new meme coin coming up with celebrities, which is going to go and inflate everything quickly, and then it's a bubble, right? And it crashes immediately. But the person who created the meme coins, it's going to take maybe a billion or two away from that and doesn't care what's happening with the other people who invested in that meme coin. So be careful with that. All right. And then let's talk about mental health because it's also actually Pisces is representing hospice and mental health, addiction centers as well. So, for example, we're going to have to, you know, make sure globally, for example, there is a reform in mental health, right? And there could be also something to do with not pharmaceutical, but pandemic break out again. So some kind of new pandemic could come in. And because of in March, we're going to have the new moon of Pisces, I would think this is the half year right now when pandemic still could be really, so it's a new strain of influenza virus. It doesn't have to be COVID, but it could be COVID as well. And recently my son got COVID. And he was so weak, very, very weak. And then my husband got it also. So for 4 days, no coughing, no fever, nothing like that. But the body was exhausted. They couldn't really walk or nothing. So it's kind of coming with a terrible weakness, all right? And then also it could bring in some kind of hospital system collapsing, right? And the strain and bankruptcies on hospitals in certain what is that countries, for example. I assume America gonna be the first over here, unfortunately, but yes, it could be. And also you're going to see a lot of lawsuit against synthetic drugs, or like, for example, new pharmaceutical giants, for example, because of they deny a lot of insurances. And right now it's something that data going to leak and they're gonna be in trouble. I forget the guy who killed the CEO, Luigi Maffei, something like that. And no, Magnon, Luigi Magnon. And then, we can have more of those kind of, unfortunate event because of people are suffering and they cannot heal. And they pay a lot of money in America for insurances, probably in other countries as well. And, they still don't get the right treatment and everything is denied. So, yes, there has to be something to do with global health reform as well. And it could be also, like some kind of experiments going to get leaked out from laboratories, and it's going to bring in some kind of public outrage as well. So maybe I remember when I was a little girl, and they said it was Ceausescu in Romania, and they said they were doing tested, on orphan children. So we can actually hear something like that, like they are taking the orphans or the underprivileged children and people, and they are actually do some kind of experiment on them, and they don't care, how high is the fatality, some kind of new drug. So it's going to leak out. All right. And what else can be, because Pisces also escapism, we will have to be careful with VRs, virtual realities, right? Because obviously, many times it's so. I do have. I'm a Pisces sun, and I have Jupiter in Pisces, and I do have that kind of escapism when I'm really overwhelmed with news and everything. My escapism is, for example, I go to my sanctuary, and that is my bathroom. All right, so it is like everything is beautiful. I have all the drums over there, and I can meditate there. So it's a huge bathroom, right? And this is something to do where you can actually find peace. But somebody's escapism could be like they're gonna use drugs or substances or alcohol, right? So it's not, or maybe virtual reality, because if you put that kind of mask on, you don't have to deal with reality, and you feel good in that kind of virtual reality. Actually, I did some kind of meditation before I put that mask on. And then I realized I went to Japan, and I went to wherever I wanted to. And it felt so great. And after a while, I was like, you know what? I should not use this mask because of I'm capable to not get grounded. So I'm really I need some grounding. I don't have anything in Taurus and Virgo. I don't have ground. And like I was like, okay, I need to get rid of that situation because I can get addicted with this virtual reality. So you might going to get experience that one as well. All right. And there could be some kind of new spiritual, new age spiritual movement as well. And what else could be? Definitely, there will be something with flooding. It's not only the oceans, guys, but because we have Jupiter exalted in Cancer, and Cancer rules the lakes, and we have actually Narcissus and Bacchus in Scorpio, and it's the deep river. So river and lakes and everything could get flooded. And there could be also something to do with tsunamis and coastal evacuation as well. Right now in Florida, we do have the hurricane season, and it might be longer than we expected because nothing yet really happened. It could be also something to do with the water rights and the conflicts, even with access to clean water, or the conflicts with, for example, water rights. What I heard right now, for example, if you hire a captain, I didn't know about that. Obviously, it's always good to have rich clients who can tell you, and you pay the captain to sign something when you are going from Miami to Bahamas or wherever, and the captains has to be notary publics, and then notaries, and they can notarize your what is that your paperworks, and whatever you sell or buy over here out on oceans, and you notarize it in ocean, you don't need to pay tax after that. So like little gates here and there, but that's what's happening. Or offshore accounts, for example. Yes, but also what we have to understand, we're going to have something to do with oil and gas manipulation because of Neptune is bubble, right? And Neptune also rules in financial market the oil and the natural gas as well. And it could be manipulated right now, right? Who owns, for example, and as I said, because Trump wanted to invade Greenland, right? Because we have oil over there. We have a lot of natural gas, not we, but Palestinians. Gaza has a lot of natural gas. Iran has a lot of oil. Venezuela have a lot of oil. You can see, guys, what's happening in the earth again. So that's what it is. There are gonna be a lot of scandals, and we're going to have the oil and gas prices manipulated again. All right, and there is also going to be some kind of we're going to need some kind of aids for massive climate refugee movements, or for example offshores issues like hurricanes and flooding, like what happened in Texas in America, because of they doing cloud seeding, and Peter Thiel actually was hiring this young dude and they did some kind of cloud seeding. And obviously, that's what happened in Texas. They are not responsible for it. They don't want to take responsibility, but they could create flash floods and massive flooding, right? And because of that, it could be okay, like where is the money coming from? And in America, FEMA right now it's in trouble, and it's not going to pay the insurance, or like pay people for their loss. And also we do have a lot of issues with insurances over here. They don't want to actually allow you to have flood insurance and hurricane insurance because they don't want to pay for your houses after you get flooded. So we're going to have issues with that. And as I said, it's going to be a year. So it's not just happening in the same day. We have to wait until the last eclipse, which is going to take place at August 28, 2026. So this is the time when it's going to unfold during this time. Yes. So, yeah. And then what else could happening? Anything to do with stock market. You have to check the pharmaceuticals, AI diagnostic, anything to do with insurances, right? Because it could be also hospital insurances and insurances, something to do also with food safety as well. But so food safety, it's more like the fishes and the how high is the mercury level in the fishes and how are they fed, because they say it's wild caught, but it is actually not, because they still trapped somehow middle of the ocean, the fishes over there, and fed with crab. And then something around that kind of food safety as well. We're going to have some kind of either scandals, or like we have to make sure uh, there is, yeah, so scandals could be as well. All right. And then what else could happen with here? Hmm, nothing else really. Yeah, it could be because of, see, it's trining with Sirius, right? And with Jupiter. So it could be something to do with house prices, like some kind of bubble again, or at least something to do because Narcissus and Bacchus also, the asteroid in Scorpio, so it creating a grand trine. So it could create something around mortgage, right? So insurance and mortgage. And I would think because of Narcissus and Nessus over there in Pisces, I would think actually there is a lot of insurance claim going to get declined because of floods. So that's what I think, because Cancer coming in, so that is home insurance, right? Yes, that's what's going to happen. So I'm just trying to brainstorm what else can I say over here, but that's what's going to happen. All right, and right now we're just going to go for each individual sign. Actually, I have a workshop at 6 o'clock, so I just going to quickly mention each individual signs. And actually, again, I have it because I'm an ISAR member, and every Saturday and Sunday I have workshops. And right now we're going to talk about the lunar cycles, actually, about the eclipses today, the Shoros cycles. All right, guys. So right now we're going to talk about Aries rising sun and moon. If you are watching that for your rising sign, that's all about you. If you're watching that about your sun sign, that's your father figure, your career, your vitality, and the moon sign is your subconscious. It is your mother figure. It is everything to do with your fears, with your tears, with your real estate and your living situation. So, for example, 12th house Aries rising, what's going to happen for you? Some kind of old subconscious patterns going to dissolve, and you can release guilt and regret as well, and something what is haunting right now. And also that it's going to be some kind of revolution in your sleep. So, for example, you're going to have your dreams intensified. You're going to have prophetic visions, deja vu moments, anything to do with your intuitions, like you're going to find clarity. And you're also going to have something with hidden enemies. You might going to get rid of hidden enemies. Finally, it's coming out, it's revolved, and you can cut the bond with someone who is sabotaging you. And also, you can actually end the self-sabotaging behavior as well. You're going to crave for stillness, and you're going to crave for solitude, and you want to be by yourself. You don't want to be surrounded right now with people. And yeah, so that's definitely could happen for you. Then it could be also a spiritual awakening as well, because it's your 12th house. Something like forgiveness could become a medicine for you. You could also let go of, for example, maybe you getting out from hospice, or maybe you letting go of a work which was in an orphanage or jail, and it was overwhelming. Some of you might going to get a new chapter and get out from jail, or uh, you were an orphan and right now you start your life. So that's definitely could happen for you. Then Taurus rising sun and moon is going to happen in your 11th house. 11th house, anything to do with your friends, with your long-term goals. This is your social circle, that is also money from your career, right? And it's luck as well. And there could be something with a friendship, with an important connection that's going to get dissolved somehow. Something to do with a community that no longer resonates with you. You just have to let it go, right? Also, dreams and goals can actually either evolve, or, it's not serving you anymore. You're going to get a different turn in life, and you're just like, okay, you are inspired by something else. You feel like your dreams are outdated and you have to just move on. It could be also an old financial, for example, tie with a group or within a group, could, for example, lead to a breakup, because maybe somebody owed you money and they are not willing to give you back the money. And you are like, okay, I'm done over here. I cannot do that anymore. And also, there could be some kind of, you need to put some kind of boundaries, because of friends are going to be overwhelming, or they don't respect your boundaries, and you will have to just say, okay, you know what? I invited you 10 times to my house. You haven't invited me yet. No, you're not coming over here until you won't invite me. Something like that could happen as well. But, it could be also some kind of emotional release, or something to let go of a support group as well, or a collaboration with someone if it doesn't work for you anymore. Or if you are in the third marriage, it could also be like, you know what, it doesn't serve me anymore. I need to divorce again, something like that. Gemini rising sun and moon is going to happen in your 10th house, right? 10th house, anything to do with your public image. That's your career. That's honor and recognition. So it could call you to get retired, for example. You're going to get redirected in your career. You might going to lose a job. You might going to actually get rid of your name. Maybe you already divorced and right now you are changing back to your maiden name, or you're changing your name right now. It could be also something like a boss, a mentor, an authority figure could exit right now. So it could be like, it's reshaping actually your public role. Maybe somebody is exiting and you have to take on to be the CEO, right? And if you were invested in project, emotionally or anyway, even financially, right now it could be like, all right, is it gonna come to culmination and then it's going to bring me money, or do I have to let it go because of, it is just not what I expect it to be, and I need some kind of new career and new ambition because that is not what I wanted kind of situation. It's also relationship with your family and with your parents, family legacy, for example. And it needs a closure, it needs a healing. Maybe you don't want to continue the family legacy. Maybe they expect it to be an attorney, just everyone else, or a doctor. And you are like, no, I'm an artist and I'm getting away from this legacy. I'm sorry, I cannot continue because I didn't mean to be that. Yes, and right now it is like just like, okay, who am I without a title kind of situation, right? I'm letting go of my name or title, and who am I without that kind of situation? And then we're gonna go and we're going to talk about Cancer rising sun and moon, and it's going to happen in your ninth house. Ninth house is your older siblings, it is long distance traveling, it is anything to do with your passport, immigration laws, right? Second marriage, for example, and export import businesses, philosophy, higher education, right? So you might going to have to let go a belief and ideology, anything to do with spiritual work as well. You might have a podcast and you just have to let it go because it's overwhelming and it's not going anywhere. Or maybe there was some kind of you need to make room for some kind of new beliefs or new truths, spiritual truth as well. It could also, I have to let go of a dream to move to a foreign country, or maybe I was fighting for my immigration papers, and right now it's coming to culmination, ending. Something is ending. It could also end a legal issue as well, something to do with a court as well. So it could be something to do resolve some kind of issues with visas and passport, for example. It could be also like teaching and certification. You might going to actually finish your degree and you can move on and you can start to work. And sometimes, if there was a travel plan, especially if it was something to do with the long distance foreign country, faraway countries, it could came to an end or some kind of sudden change happening over there as well. There could be also, if you had a spiritual guide and influential mentor, it could pass away as well. Yeah, so that what could happen for you, Cancer's rising sun and moon. And then Leo rising sun and moon is going to happen in your eighth house. Anything to do with financial transformation, debts or inheritance or loans, it's going to shift for you. So you can pay off a debit card. You can actually get rid of finally from if you had an identity theft. If you had loan, mortgage, you might going to pay it off. There could be something with intimacy, something secrecy also could come to light as well with your significant others. Some hidden secrets, could surface right now. But if you have a relationship, there could be some kind of power dynamic could expose, and right now you need to seek and um, regain your power in a relationship, especially if it's, going to demand some kind of honesty right now at this moment. And also, you have to let go of financial dependency, as well. If you have anything to do with the prenup and anything to do with insurance as well, health insurance paid out or life insurance paid out for you, it could come to you and an inheritance as well. Definitely emotional rebirth. And, it could also end a relationship, but it could be only like the relationship only was like behind the scene and it was only sexual. So you might have been cheated on you or you might have cheated on your partner, and it is like karmic, but you have to let go of and go let go, because otherwise you would ruin your marriage, your relationship, if you wouldn't move forward. Virgo rising sun and moon is going to happen in your seventh house, and seventh house anything to do with mirroring. This is your one-on-one relationship. It's your alliances. It's your open enemies. It's anything to do with your VIP followers and VIP client, and it's legal matters and mediation as well. So you might end up, for example, you might end the mediation. You don't want to do it anymore, or legal matter could also so end finally, and it's over. Somebody was suing you, and the court case is over. It could also bring in a breakup because it's in your seventh house, right? Anything to do with contracts or business deals could dissolve right now. The collaboration, unexpectedly like end, for example. It could also bring in some kind of healing through truth because of it's going to get exposed maybe about a partner and you are capable to heal yourself. It is also you are choosing independence and not just emotionally but financially independence as well, and you move forward. Yes, anything to do with the complicated legal matters could actually finally can get resolved, and you can let it go right now. Yes, and you're going to need to practice forgiveness, for example, in this matter, because Neptune. Oh, sorry, Neptune is forgiveness as well. So it could be like, okay, I need to forgive to my partner or forgive myself. Allow my partner to sabotage me or cheat on me, and then just let it go and just move on. All right, we're going to talk about Libra rising sun and moon. It's going to happen in your sixth house. Sixth house is pets, more a small pet. It is health. It is daily routine service for others. It is tenancy. It is anything to do with rental property, soulmate relationship as well. Um, yes, and then work ethic, and it's also the work union as well, and insurance, private insurance through your company. So maybe your company is not going to pay your insurance anymore. Maybe you have to let go of a work. Maybe you're going to have a pet passing away, for example, you know, because they're going to pet and coworkers can actually, or they're going to require unexpected attention right now. Maybe they're just going to have health issues and you have to fill in and you're going to be overwhelmed with work. But it could also bring in some kind of exhaustion because of you burnout and you work a lot, and a job definitely could end, and also you will need to have a new work routine and health routine as well, because your health is going through under major transformation right now, so it could be that as well for you. You have to really listen to your body, because right now it's whispering, hey, you have to be more compassionate for yourself, and healing, and try to use holistic Piscean method with swimming and massages, and something holistic to get healed. Scorpio rising sun and moon is going to happen in your fifth house. Fifth house is romance. Fifth house is your artistic ability. Fifth house is your children as well, your creative project. And also, you have to be careful with gambling and investment, because, if you put everything in one basket, you can lose a lot of money during this time. Also, it could bring in an ending with some kind of creative project as well. Maybe you wrote your book, or you finished your painting, or the lyrics. Maybe you have to let go of your manager or your agent right now, because fifth house also rules that. It could be like your child is actually moving out because they are going to university, college. This is the time when they're going, and you're gonna have an empty nest and you're gonna feel very, very lonely. It could be something to do with fertility and children, and parenting teams, obviously. So it could be like maybe the fertility treatment doesn't allow you to have a baby on your own, and maybe you have to have a surrogate, or maybe you will have to turn to adoption. So it could be that way. But definitely you have to reclaim your inner child, and you have to reclaim you're going to have a lot of inspiration, but not every inspiration going to get fulfilled, for example, in your creative project. All right, and then maybe you're going to have to let go of a lover, And then Sagittarius rising sun and moon, my fellow Sagittarians, it's going to happen in our fourth house. Something to do with our family foundation, anything to do with relocation and property. You know, I told you something is ending and it could start right now. And you finally realized, okay, wherever I live, it doesn't serve me anymore. I really need to move. And it could bring in until March, you might going to buy a new home and you're going to relocate during this time. You know, something to do with a new property. It could also bring in ancestral healing. You know, you're going to release inherited burdens. For example, it could bring in a parental figure passing or maybe a grandparent passing during this time. Anything to do with that kind of karmic transformation, but it also going to transform your and soften your generational wounds as well. With that person passing on, it is almost like a, I'm not saying a curse, but some kind of karmic wound is also released within the family, right? Anything to do with secrets in your family could surface. And right now, some of you going to find out your grandfather was not your biological grandfather, and you know that could be happening as well. And you will find a root. You will find some, and you know, Pisces, it's very romantic and it's very bucket list. It could be like you're going to move closer to the ocean or the sea within half year, within a year. All right, Capricorn rising sun and moon, it's going to happen in your third house. Third house, anything to do with your vehicle, neighborhood, with the familiar, younger sibling, short distance traveling. It's also workshop, trade schools as well, for example, and online studying as well. So, you know, like something to do with communication patterns going to change for you guys. Maybe you're going to release a toxic cycle over here, something to do with over explaining yourself, or maybe you want to actually be in silent. Maybe you're going to stop talking to your neighbors or one of your younger sibling, aunt, uncle, nephews, nieces. You know, it could be like they are overwhelming, they are burdens on me, and I don't want to have any connection anymore with them. And you know, that is the dynamic going to change very, very quickly, right? It could be also like some kind of short-term project coming to conclusion right now. Maybe you wrote something. Maybe you created a workshop, an online study, an online school, and right now you're capable to release it. You put that on your website, and you are capable to sell it, right? But also, it could be something to do with your thoughts. You're going to have more compassion toward to others, right? Your feelings, the way you are telling stories, the old narratives are gonna be gone, and you know, and it's going to dissolve. And whatever you outgrown, the way you had, you know, like the way you were talking, speaking, it's gonna change, as I said, because it's going to align with your priorities right now, and you're going to become more compassionate, right? And the local connections also going to change. All right, and then we're going to have Aquarius. Yeah, Aquarius rising, sun and moon. It's gonna happen in your second house. And second house, anything to do with your values, your morals, the food you eat. It is anything to do with your wallet, your finances, the money that you make. It's a side kick gig, right? So you have to earn the way you are earning money because it doesn't serve you. It is just paycheck to paycheck. So you need something else. It could be like a financial chapter going to close, and it's going to some kind of old sources of income and expenses also going to get dissolved as well. And you can release attachment to possessions, right? And you can redefine your values. So this is very good time to declutter your house. And if you were someone who collected a lot of stuff, you can get a minimalistic household right now. You can give away for charities, for people who are suffered from, you know, like refugees, and you're giving to refugees everything but you don't need anymore. So declutter your house. It could be also an unexpected shift, for example, in your in your the way you are earning money, and you might going to earn money on a spiritual way or an artistic way, maybe with photography, filmography, right? Anything to do with spiritual teaching, for example. Yes, and the material stability and your confidence is going to be based on spirituality, and not necessarily you're gonna value yourself through how much material and finances you're going to hold. So there is going to bring in a spiritual settlement for you. And that is definitely a karmic closure. It could be something to do with, if you are, for example, an art collector or whatever, you might even going to find something what was hidden or inheritance, which was an art right now, and you can sell it for a huge amount of money, but you can also get rid of right now very valuable pieces because you don't know where to put it anymore, right? And you don't need it anymore, so you're going to actually sell it and have the cash on hand, for example. And healing also going to come from food. So you might going to have more marine collagen, or spirulina and kelp in your diet because that's Neptunian energy. So you're going to change your diet definitely, and your supplementation. And then Pisces rising sun and moon, it's going to happen in your first house. First house, the mask, what you wear, it's everything about you. The way you are representing yourself and your company, right? That is your body, your self image, your self worth. So, your image is going to change, your identity. It's almost like a rebirth for you, right? And you going to outgrow roles and relationship, and that those are going to naturally fall away, and you're going to transform physically as well yourself. It's going to be a major head shift, for example, or you might going to change your hairstyle, or you might going to change the way you are looked by others. You're going to be more romantic, more compassionate. You are very compassionate anyway, but more vulnerable and more psychic as well. So your intuition's going to be like off the roof right now. And we have another eclipse in our sign. I have my Jupiter and my Sun sign in Pisces. So obviously it is just like crazy intuitive time for us. It's going to be, and it could bring in a lot of tears because of old wounds, but finally it's cleansing and it's let go, right? And it's awakens the compassion inside. And you can go actually to maybe to buy a house offshore, or it could, maybe you're gonna go to a retreat also, get rid of addiction, any kind of addiction which is self-sabotaging and holding you back. All right, guys, I finished before 6 o'clock what I wanted, and I tried to do a little bit shorter videos. So this is the solar eclipse, I mean the lunar eclipse in Pisces in 15 degrees midpoint. Mm, I'm happy you are here with me. Please, like and comment below just to have and help with the algorithm. And I'm going to see you soon with another video. Thank you so much for being here. Bye for now.